All right, so I thought we can have a little chat, take a little break from quilting and have probably a 5-minute chat about the holiday. And I can show you what I actually bought as well in terms of fabrics. You've already seen this one here, which is from Michaels. Beautiful. Absolutely love it. And I'm going to open it all up so you can see. So by this time you would have seen this. I also picked this up from Hobby Lobby. Was it Hobby Lobby? Yeah, I think it was Hobby Lobby. I picked this up from, actually. I picked up 2. And I'll tell you why. Because I have this already in my stash. And I was thinking, oh, I could make a really nice quilt with this, you know, but forgetting completely that this is blue and white, not black and white. So yeah, I'm sure I can swing it, or I'm sure I can go back into the store and get some black and white of this. Hopefully they still have it in stock. But that was the idea anyway. But this is really nice. It's a bundle fat quarter. I paid $4.99 for this and I bought 2. It's a bundle fat quarter of, I think 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I thought it was really a good deal. So I'm looking forward to trying out the quality of the fabrics, and obviously I'll let you know when it's the actual quilt from Hobby Lobby. So like for this one, this is a quilt made from the fabrics of Michaels. So obviously that's what we're doing today. I also picked up some of this one here. I can't remember where, but I think this may be yardage from Hobby Lobby again. This was a little bit more expensive, a little bit more, she says, a bit more expensive than these 2 here, than this one here that I bought. So I bought these 2 yardage here. Okay, I think they are, this one is 1.5 yards, there's 2 yards, and this one is 1 yard, I think. I think this was more to mix with another set of fabrics that I bought. But I love these, really nice blue and white fabrics, and I love this dark paisley blue that I'm going to use as either sashings or as well as binding, I was thinking for this one. But I love the darkness, the different contrast with these 2. And the reason why I picked up those was to go with this here. I bought this from the Schneiders, that's the way she pronounced it. I'm trying to sound American, which is totally incorrect, and I apologize for those of you that I'm actually insulting, but I'll put the thumbnail up of the quilt store. I think it was a Snyder's quilt store. The thing is, it doesn't have the label of the store that I bought it from, but I paid $51.99, but I think I actually bought this one from there. It's really nice. It is a layer cake, and I paid $52 for it, and I really like this particular one. It is called Nantuk Summer by Camille Ruskelly, which I do know. Camille, is it Camille? Yeah, Camille, I do know her. She's pretty good. I remember watching her when she just started actually making quilts, and she used to kind of stumble a little bit, and she's going, she used to make like these big pauses, and you know, really pauses when she started. I remember watching her on Crafty, and yeah, but I really liked her, and she's got some really nice ideas as well. So all right, so my other camera just died on me. So what I was saying is that I was really happy to pick this up, but that's literally all of the fabrics that I picked up because I was really worried about weight, because we had some issues when we landed in. When we were leaving LA to go to Baltimore airport, we had some issues there with United Airlines. I must admit though, I will not travel with United Airlines ever again. I think the people who were working there were very, very unprofessional, and they had no idea what they were doing. They were talking, and I'm referring to, I should say, at check-in. It was really bad. And the thing is, we decided was to check in early to avoid any sort of confusion and mishaps. And what took place is that we had, we were allowed, or I should say, we paid for 2 sets of 2 sets of carry-on. Is it carry-on? checked, that's it. 2 sets of checked luggage each and 1 carry-on. So I had 2, of course. Carl had 1 and a carry-on, which was his laptop and all those bits and bobs. And I had my handbag and my carry-on, which is what I had all my camera gear in, etc. Now, all the other airlines knew the road because we paid for everything collectively. And when we got to United Airlines, they were trying to charge us more money for luggage. It was like, no, you're not allowed. I was like, I said, well, really, we're under at the moment because my husband should have 2 checked and I have 2 checked. That is what we paid for, in total of the weight that we had. So we were there with these people for a good hour. They were trying to charge us an extra $100 for luggage that we didn't really have. They were saying that we're only supposed to have 1 checked each. This is United Airlines I'm referring to. 1 checked each and a carry-on each. And it was like, no, we're supposed to. And we showed them all the paperwork. The ticket says it, that because we had the printed out ticket, everything that the itinerary, I forgot the name now, that the booking agency sent us, because obviously we booked through an agency. We didn't book online, we did it properly. We booked so that we have all our connecting flights, but they were adamant, and this lady, a few of them, it's like 3 or 4 of them were all saying the wrong things. And they were arguing with them. There was this other loud lady, I didn't catch her name, I wish I'd taken her name. That lady was loud, abrasive, rude. She wasn't being directly rude to us, but she was being indirectly rude. And Carl was getting completely annoyed, and I'm trying to calm things down, because it was just ridiculous. And it wasn't about the extra $100. It wasn't about that, because we knew we took the correct precautions, because we knew we would want to buy stuff, so we made sure we had the weight to bring things back. And with that being said, it was not till the end, when I said the end, Carl was like, you know what, F it, let's just pay the $100 and get out of here, because we are literally wasting time with these people who have no idea what they're talking about. And it was until one of the other ladies who got involved, because like 3 or 4 of them got involved. The last lady who got involved, she was like, okay, fine, you really got to pay this $100. There's no way you're not allowed. We gave you a free one. So you're not giving me anything free. We've paid for what we've paid for. It's not about you giving us anything free. Anyway, so with that now, as Carl paid the $100, she looked and she saw it was literally at the point of the payment going through that she read it properly, and she's like, oh, you don't have to pay for luggage. You don't need it. And I was like, you see exactly what we've been saying to you all this time. At least you're the smart person to actually take the time and look at the screen. And with that, she apologized and she refunded the money. But it was just such a negative experience with United Airlines. And I promise I would never, never, never travel with them again. Returning back through Baltimore was the same issue, and we were like, you know what, just keep the $100, just keep it. It's not worth the stress, just keep it. So Carl and I promised we would not use that airline again, and I wouldn't recommend it to anybody. It was just ridiculous checking in, a lot of the people working there. In fact, going back, the staff was a little bit more pleasant, right? We didn't bother argue with the $100. We were just whatever. That's what their system says, whatever. We just, by this point, we were over it. This was returning. But the going to Baltimore was horrendous. It was really, really an awful experience checking in at LAX to board United Airlines. The staff there was lazy, I'm sorry to say, but the staff was lazy. They were standing around. They weren't really offering you any support. And obviously, in the airports now, they have all of these machines where you check in. A lot of it wasn't very clear. It was just terrible. Absolutely terrible service. And I'm not one to complain about service. I'm thinking through my brain as I'm saying this. I'm not one really to complain about service. I would complain about quality of food, but not the service as much, you know. But this particular airline, no, won't do it. It's an absolute no-no. You know, I mean, that was one of the mishaps that we had. I would say for New Zealand Air, what I would say, I did find that they took very long to serve the food, and by the time they served, it was whether it was dinner or breakfast, I felt that the service to start to serve was very long, and you were starving hungry by then. None of the food was anything great anyway, but it was, yeah, it was just too long. I felt too long. But again, I probably won't use, you know, New Zealand Air again. I'll probably just use Qantas. Qantas is top notch, you know. But obviously, because we were going so far and we didn't want to just fly straight, we decided was to break up the flight so that we can stop over in LA, you know. But yeah, it was just, I probably would just, as much as it's stressful going straight, you know, or having 2 flights rather than 3 or 4, whatever it was, I probably will just do 2. So, you know, go straight to LA, and then from LA go to get to Baltimore and drive down to PA. But yeah, it was just stressful. Those were the bits that was stressful for me. But other than that, waiting around in airports wasn't that bad. You know, it was obviously things to do, places to shop and see, but that was all right. What I would say though is that on we were you know, I would say this, yeah, YouTubers, they lie. I'm sorry to say, I'm not a YouTuber myself and I don't lie, but before we went, we assumed, based on the information we received from YouTube in terms of people vlogging about their, you know, travels through airports in America, that it was empty. That is far from the truth. Literally far from the truth. Okay, because the airports were full, absolutely full. There were people everywhere, in every... Out, now. Jackson, did you hear him grunting at me to get in? The airports were absolutely busy full. I mean, when we arrived, where did we arrive? We arrived at LA, oh my God. Immigration was an absolute nightmare to get through. There were so many people. There was like 3 or 4 planes arrived at the same time. And people say there's nobody in the airport. No, that is not true. Flights were busy full. The airport was absolutely full. So don't believe that if you've got to travel. That is not, people not traveling to America. No, that's not true at all. So we was thinking, oh, the flight is going to be empty, you know, or the airport is going to be empty, because you know these things, these YouTubers, these videos come up on your feed and you think, oh, you'll watch it because you're traveling. No, that was far from the truth, really far from the truth. But I mean, I say all that to say that overall it was, traveling was okay. The experience was okay. I mean, this is my longest travel to America. Obviously, before I flew from, you know, the UK, and it wasn't that long. So traveling from Australia was, yeah, stressful, definitely. It's not something I would rush to do again in a short time. You know, it is, and that's one of the reasons why we stayed so long, because, yeah, it was just really heavy on the body. But it was a nice time spending with my mom. I spent a lot more time with my mom. My sister obviously was at work majority of the times, and you actually saw the few times she was in the videos that I showed you. You know, that was literally the times when she was at home, or if she was not studying, you know. But yeah, but mom was really happy to have us with her. She obviously enjoyed the company, because obviously she's home alone when my sister is at work or not at home for whatever reason. But yeah, she was really happy with the company. She made me work a lot, did her hair twice, did a lot of cooking for her, and that woman tired me out. She really did, you know. So I mean, I forgot to tell you, Yvette, hi Yvette actually came to see me while we were on holiday. thank you, Yvette, for the gifts that you brought myself and hubby. And I forgot to record it. I was so excited to meet her that I actually forgot to turn the camera on. And I just want to say thank you again for the gifts, and thank you so much for coming and seeing my hubby and myself. I would have loved to have met with you again on the Sunday as we planned, but that was the only day I had to do the cooking. In fact, I did cooking on the Sunday and the Monday for my mother, and we were leaving the Wednesday, so it was tight clothes, and I had to pick up some few things that I needed to do. So the only day left to do that was the Tuesday, and I know Carl didn't want to be driving and running around on the Wednesday morning that we had to leave. So I apologize again, but that was the only day I had to do the Sunday and the Monday. But thank you so much. It was so lovely to meet you and your daughter, and and your little doggy. What was her name? Sheila? Elsa? I can't remember her name now. And funny enough, Carl and I was talking about her just 2 days ago, and I remembered her name. You know what? I'm sure it will come to me. I'll put it on the screen. But it was so nice of you, Yvette, to come and meet us. I really, really enjoyed the chats that we had, and wish we had longer time. But you know what? You can always come to me now again. You can always come and visit again. All right. But yeah, it was lovely meeting Yvette and her daughter. All right. But yeah, I had a really great time. As I said, lots of cooking, and I really wanted to try the seafood boil, which I showed you guys, and I'll put a little clip in as well. But that was really lovely. I have got to make that dish at home. It's an all finger dish, and I don't mind eating my fingers, but it was absolutely gorgeous. Well, I think that's all really I've got to say to you. But other than what I've told you before, love my sister's house, and the area was really nice to see. It's a new house that she bought, and obviously it's a new area as well, as you can tell, because there's no sort of character with trees and stuff, just houses. But yeah, it was grand to be there for the whatever amount of weeks we were there for. It was really lovely. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this really little chat from me, and if you didn't, I'm sorry, but I know there are some of you that really enjoy hearing a little bit about my personal life, and yeah, it was really nice. I forgot to mention this. Hold up for a minute. Yeah, just bear with me. All right, I forgot to mention about the customer service. Now, comment down below if you find things have changed in America. Now, I know this does not give the whole impression of what I experience across America, but I would say I used to visit America a lot when I lived in the UK to see my family, okay? And one of the things that I really it felt so special was the customer service. Thank you, ma'am. Hello, ma'am. How are you today, ma'am? It was overboard, but I loved it. I know a few people hated it, or I've heard people hate it. It's just a fake, but I liked it. Whether it was faked or not, I liked it. I think for me personally, it was welcoming to the customers, and it just made you feel welcome, whether or not it was overboard. But where has it gone? Where has it gone? I didn't really experience that, and it was quite sad, because I remember saying to Carl before we left, I said, be prepared to be overwhelmed with customer service, and we didn't experience that. I remember we went into, I think it was Olive Garden. I hope I am correct, because we went into two. We went into the first one. Carl and I, we were out shopping, and we didn't have anything to eat before we left in the morning out. We were hungry, and so it was lunchtime by this time. And so, let's go get something properly to eat rather than we'll pick up fast food. And we walked in, we found it. Took a bit of driving around, but we found it, And we walked in, was greeted immediately, then showed us to a seat. However, the young lady, Jackson, stop it. No, you're not coming in. The young lady passed all of the seating, all of the booths in front of the restaurant, and took us to the back, where a few of the servers were just gathered, talking, hanging out. And I'm thinking, I'm looking around, I was like, what the hell? Did she just pass all those booths empty, literally empty? It was midday, so it wasn't busy. It was literally just gone 12. So I said to one of the guys, I'm sorry, I don't want to sit here. Can you move us to the front, please? And she said, okay, fine. And she moved us, right? Within sitting down there, and I don't want to lie, as God is my witness, we sat there for another 5-6 minutes, and the car was like, where's the person come to take our drinks? Nobody. Waited another 5 minutes again. By this time it's 10 minutes, yeah? We're looking through the menu, but I'm looking around, and there are people coming, I see 2 waiters coming and clearing the table in front of us, or the booth in front of us, and the booth beside us was a table. Either or. There were different servers were actually clearing. None of those people decided to take our order. By this time, it was 15 minutes we were sitting there. And I was like, if in the next minute nobody turns up, that's it, I'm out. Let's just go. Let's just get up and go. Nobody came. We got up and left. I was pretty disappointed and pretty fuming. Carl was more fuming than I was, and he went up to one of the guys and said, listen, I'm not willing to spend my money here if you people don't have the time to come and take even my drinks order after seating us. And he just left. And I was saying to him, baby, don't even worry about it, because it's going to fall on deaf ears. And then I said, so what did the guy said to him? The guy just went, oh. So that was really disappointing, I must admit. I don't know if other people have experienced that, but for me, and that wasn't the first one. We went somewhere again, I think it was Burger King. We thought we'd just get something quick to eat. No, it wasn't Burger King, tell a lie. Burger King was grand, really. Burger King was good. It was Wendy's. And again, we waited another 5 minutes. I was thinking, what the hell is going on with these people? Where is the customer service in America? What is going on? So for me, that was a big thumbs down to that. I mean, the only 2 places that I say we've experienced, as I'm talking about places where you dine, was the Outback. The young lady there was pleasant, friendly, you know, as well as the second Olive Garden. We went with my mother in PA, not too far from the house. Brilliant service, you know. And then what pisses me off, you know, is that people want to give you bad service and then they want tip. I'm sorry, I'm not tipping you. I don't believe in the tipping culture. I really don't. I think somebody should be tipped if me as an individual feel happy to do so. I am not one to tip, because on the drive back home from the airport, because my sister was at work and I didn't really want to burden her with taking us back to Baltimore Airport. Obviously it's a long drive from PA. Anyway, I thought we'd just book an Uber. So I booked an Uber. That young dude, that dude, he literally passed the house. He came on time, he passed the house, and then he parked lower down, right? Now I reckon he was probably about 5 minutes early, you know. And then when, you know, Carl went and knocked the door and said, hey, we're up here. Can you turn around, please? That guy didn't even get out the car to help with the luggage. Didn't even. And I tell you no lie. He didn't even get out the car the car put everything in his, and it was the last luggage, which was my hand luggage. Car couldn't fit into the to the trunk, and he said, oh, just put it in the front seat. And I think he took it and put it in the front seat. When we were traveling there, that guy was driving as though he was on cruise control. He was laid back, he was drinking, sipping, eating, looking for things, watching video. And at one time he swerved on the edge of the road. You know, when you swerve at the edge of the road, it makes a really gritty sound so that it wakes you. And I went to him, excuse me, are you okay? Is everything all right? And he went, yeah, everything is all right. You know, and then, but it was just an unsafe drive. I was on edge the whole time, and the car and I just looking at each other. It's like, what the hell? Who drives like this? You're a public service, and this is how you're driving? And here the greatest. When we arrived at the airport, did he come out and help? No, he took his merry time getting out of the car, right? And then he's looking at me to give him a tip. And I was like, dude, do you really think I'm going to give you a tip? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So I said, thank you. And I walked off. And with that, all of a sudden I get is a ping from him talking about tip your Uber driver. I was like, please, I'm not tipping you. I'm not tipping you at all, especially when your service was so lousy. You're, obviously just not in care of your passengers' safety nor your own. I was like, no, dude, I'm not giving you a tip. Sorry. But I must admit, as I said, the service was good coming into the stores and stuff like that. People greeted you, which was beautiful as usual. That's what I remembered. You had the till, people chatting to you. But in the restaurants, only 2 was good. The others were really, really bad. And yeah, I mean, if I really wanted to, I could go on there and leave a negative service, but I don't live there, so it wasn't a big deal. What I do know is that I would never go back there again. That's me. I'm that type of customer. Forget bad service from you, you would never see my money again. I don't even have to argue. You will just never experience it again. So so that was, I just wanted to add those 2 little bits of comments there to you, to share with you about that. And I know a lot of you, obviously most of my viewers are from the USA, so I know a lot of you will have feedback to give me, and I'm looking forward to reading them. But this is by no means judging the whole of America. I'm just telling you the experience that I had and how disappointed I was, actually, because I said in the past the service was always grand, was always over the top, and I loved that about America. But it has definitely declined, and I don't know if that got to do with the Karens. We didn't see any Karens, but hey, we did see some really unsightly figures excuse me, in Walmart. But we was telling our mum, I was telling mum, I was looking forward to seeing some real Karen. She was like, no, you wouldn't really see that on these sides. That's like the other areas. I didn't want to say the word she said, but this is the other areas, that you would actually experience that, but not on these sides. But there was some unsightly dressing, definitely. People exposing their bums, and, I'm thinking, really? Nobody wants to see that. But that was the round off of the holiday, really. But I just wanted to share that with you. All right, so let's get back to the quilting.